I don't know if this is actually possible, but when I die, I don't want the lame ass shit of being buried. I want to be cremated, and then I want my ashes to be infused with metal, and then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope ass knight longsword. And then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations. That's like the coolest idea I think I've ever come up with. I don't know if this is actually possible, but when I die, I don't want the lame ass shit of being buried. I want to be cremated, and then I want my ashes to be infused with metal, and then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope ass knight longsword. And then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations. That's like the coolest idea I think I've ever come up with.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach 100% true. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Ra'aya, back with another one from GMS Detroit. And yeah, y'all. So I was scrolling through TikTok, and I was just thinking in my head, and Thawada Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakwadash for this lesson. Yahweh Radazai is edifying for the hopeful elect. But I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I need to make a video. What can I make a video on? And I was about to pray in my head, to the Heavenly Father and to Yahweh Shai about a video, and this video popped up as I was scrolling through TikTok. I was like, "Oh wow! Like, man, this is incredible," because he hit this right on the head. Like Esau, you cannot make this up, right? This is the type of thing you can't make up. He think that he made this up himself, right? Let me go and hit the volume, right? He says it in his video that he thinks he made it up. This is the greatest thing he ever made up, right?
I don't know if this is actually possible, but when I die, I don't want the lame ass shit of being buried. I want to be cremated, and then I want my ashes to be infused with metal, and then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope ass knight longsword. And then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations.
Right? You can't make this shit up, y'all. Let me get Genesis 27 and 40. Now, this is dealing with Esau, Edom, who were supplanted out of the blessing by Jacob, right? His brother, his uh, his twin brother, actually, but he came out red all over, right? He lacked in pigmentation, and this is who we call the so-called white man to this day. And I'm going to start at verse 30, and then I'm gonna come on down, and I'm gonna read down to verse 40, and then we're gonna do it like that. And it came to pass, as this is Genesis 27 and 30, and it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting, right? And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau, right? And it says, And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Who? Where is he that have taken venison and brought it me, and I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him? Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing, right? And that's what Jacob's name means. It means supplanter, right? To get down, basically, right? So this is why Esau is, what he said in this video is going to be, prevalent to the scriptures that I'm going into, because of this scenario right here. is all of the hatred that the so-called white man has for Jacob, which later his name was turned into Israel, which he had 12 sons who turned into the 12 tribes, and they had offspring who turned into the 12 tribes of Israel, right? That make up the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? So this is going to show you why, right? And the fact that this video came up was beautiful, right? But let me start again. It says, verse 34, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. Now, let's keep going. It says, he took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. Now, Esau gave Jacob the birthright, right? Jacob just gave him, he just exchanged it for some food, basically. He exchanged it for some pottage, right, of meat, and he gave him a spoonful of meat, and he gave him his birthright, because Esau didn't actually care about the birthright. So, he can say that he supplanted him, which he did, but really it was because Esau was careless. He didn't care, right? So verse 35, and he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved the blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, right? And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father, right? And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, right? And you can hear, based on this, you can tell how he, how he, how he wept, right? Verse 39, and it says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, right? Esau's going to have all of the good places. But the thing is, how he was going to get it was by the sword. And by verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, right? And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, right? And the point is that Esau was going to rule by the sword, right? And the fact that this video shows this Edomite saying that he would want to be turned into a sword,
I don't know if this is actually possible, but when I die, I don't want the lame ass shit of being buried. I want to be cremated, and then I want my ashes to be infused with metal, and then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope ass knight longsword. And then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations.
And he said he wanted to be passed down as a family heirloom for generations, right? And what's funny about this is that happened. That has happened because Esau, Edom, the Edomites that come from Esau, their forefather Esau, the Edomites have ruled by the sword for generations, right? They had a perpetual hatred for their brother, which is Israel, which ultimately they have had a perpetual hatred for the offspring of their brother, which are the Israelites, right? So we're going to read Ezekiel 35, and we can start at 3. And it says, and say unto it, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, and Mount Seir is another name for the Edomites, right? I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, right? This hatred that he had came from this scenario here in Genesis 27, right? And let's go to Genesis 27 and 41, and it's going to make sense why this perpetual hatred has came upon him. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, meaning he said in his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Now, Esau came with that same spirit Cain had in the beginning, right? Cain slew his brother um, Abel for Abel doing the righteous, giving a righteous sacrifice to Yahweh, right? and and that's crazy, you know what I mean? Because he did the right thing and he got, deleted from his brother because of this. But and in this case, Jacob did the right thing as well, because Esau cared not for his birthright, and his blessing obviously wasn't supposed to go to him, because the Heavenly Father would have made that happen that way, but he didn't, right? And let's go to Ezekiel 35. And let's go to verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. And that's the point, the sword, right? In the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, says Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? Because Esau Edom has had a perpetual hatred towards us. This is why um, we keep seeing these police shootings, these, catching Jake being hung up on the tree, being lynched, and all that. Esau has a perpetual hatred for us, right? The Edomites, the so-called white man, right? So let's get this Amos 1 and 11, and it says, thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. And this is what they did. They Esau, Edom, they pursued Gad. They came all the way over here, right, to this nation. They knew that Northern Kingdom was here, over here in this continent, and this side of the world. They knew that they were here because they brought Hebrew interpreters with them to come over here. So they already knew who they were going to, and they was looking for. And they pursued them with the sword. When they made covenants with the Northern Kingdom, they broke all of them, right? That's Psalms 55, right? They broke all of the covenants, and then they had war in their heart, and they destroyed, Northern Kingdom, right? And then after that, they came and pursued Southern Kingdom, which was on the west of Africa, right? Because we migrated from in the times of 70 AD, when being pursued by the Romans, we those of us who listened to Yahweh Shai when he was on the scene didn't go back into the city. We just left, and we migrated to the north of Africa, where the mountains are, so to speak, right? And then we ended up migrating from there to the west of Africa, and really throughout all of it, but the majority of us was migrated through the west of Africa. And from there is where Esau Edom came and pursued us, right? He went to them Hamites and made treaties with them on where our whereabouts was. They found where we were, and they came and they pursued us, right, with the sword. So this is verse 11. It says, Amos 1:11, thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever, right? And it's funny because Esau saying that for generation and generation, he want that sword to be going through his family and all that. And it's like, it did. It did, Esau.
And then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope-ass knight longsword. and then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations. That's
right?
the coolest idea I think I've ever come up with.
Right? And you didn't come up with the idea, Esau. The Heavenly Father put that in y'all's spirit, right? But because of these things, you're going to have to burn, right? So it says, verse 12, but I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra, right? And that fire is going to be thermonuclear missiles, right? That's going to burn this place up, right? Babylon the Great. And just Teman and Basra is representative as cities of the Edomites, but cities are composed of people, right? The people are a city before the city is a city, so to speak, before the land is a city. The people are, and it's speaking about them. So, and the Edomites are here in Babylon the Great, aka America, and this place will be burned by fire. So, Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect out there. And with that, I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Shalom, y'all. On to the next one. I'm gonna let this play out.
I don't know if this is actually possible, but when I die, I don't want the lame ass shit of being buried. I want to be cremated, and then I want my ashes to be infused with metal, and then I want to be forged into a sword. Just like a cool, dope ass knight longsword. And then I want it passed on as a family heirloom for generations. That's the coolest idea I think I've ever come up with.